What's good, everybody? This is your boy Deshaun Cox with Soul Faces Media, and I am here with another review. Y'all already know I had to get into this Mary J. Blige My Life documentary. It dropped on Amazon Prime, and if you haven't seen it, you gotta go check it out. When Mary dropped the promo for the project sometime last month, I immediately was excited. Like, it made me so lit because anybody that knows me knows that I love Mary J. Blige, always have since a kid growing up in the 90s, and that's never going to change. So I was really looking forward to seeing the film. What I appreciated about it was how raw and authentic Mary was. You know, she had her family in it as well. Her production team that was a part of the album, and I liked how they brought fans in as well to basically, you know, shed light on what the album did for them. I thought it was very creative how they took the song My Life and they broke it down into sections. Well, they took lyrics from it to break the documentary down into sections. I thought that was really creative, and they started with Take a Look at My Life. And so it started from, you know, Mary's, you know, younger years growing up in Yonkers. I liked how they showed a few throwback pictures, you know, so it showed that Mary kind of always had that sauce, you know, as far as her style goes. So that I thought that was really dope to actually see that. I also liked how they brought in the producers, Chucky Thompson and Big Bub. You know how they brought them in and how they basically gave the inspiration behind the production, you know, the direction that they wanted to go, using early 70s and, you know, early 80s samples, and how they also took lyrics from various songs and they kind of broke them down. And I thought that it was deep when they did that because, you know, with a few songs, with Mary in particular, I guess it kind of took her back to that mental space that she may have been when she was writing the song or whenever it was in the studio. So it kind of brought emotions for her, like to even where she couldn't even, you know, sing it in fully. You know, she's like, oh, I gotta stop because, you know, it's taking me to that place, which is, you know, it's not shocking, but, you know, it's just kind of eye-opening because, you know, 27 years later after the release, it's like those experiences that, you know, she had and that trauma, like, it still affects her to this day. But I liked how they, with everybody involved, because Diddy was in it as well. And, you know, it was real interesting to kind of see him in a different space, you know, expressing some of the things that he had gone through as well. But the project in itself, the My Life project in itself, seemed to be therapy for everybody involved. Even Bub, you know, was sharing, you know, how he was going through things as well at that time, and how they all kind of leaned on each other. You know, they laughed together, they cried together, and just how they basically uplift one another, you know, to push past what they were going through at that time. Of course, they shed light on Mary's relationship with Casey Haley of Jodeci. You know, everybody knows how emotionally, physically, and mentally abusive that relationship was. But when they started that portion of the interview, I liked how they started with the duet that they did from Mary's debut album, What's the 411. I Don't Want to Do Anything. I love that track because it's so passionate, you know, with the both of them on there, and you can kind of feel through their singing just the love that they had for each other at that point, I guess, before it kind of got to a place where it became toxic. Now, one thing that I didn't like, you know, it was a portion of the interview when Mary was doing the interview the interviewer was like, I have a question for you, but hold on, because Jodeci was on the show a few weeks ago, and we asked Casey the same question, and this is what Casey said. And they asked Casey if he was going to marry Mary, and he was just like, nah, but he was very obnoxious, like, nah, like, I'm not. Basically, he wasn't going to marry Mary, but he had been in a relationship with her. So I felt like, damn, like that was a slap in the face, like on national television. And for the interviewers to basically play that back in front of Mary's face, on national television, like you could really see like how embarrassed she was. And I really kind of felt for her at that moment. And I respect her for how she responded, because she did it like really gracefully. So big ups to you for handling that, how you handled it, Mary. But overall, the documentary put the entire album in a different perspective for me. Like I had to literally go after I watched it. I listened to the album from top to finish. Now, mind you, I heard the album, growing up. One of my aunts, she had the CD, so she always played it. And when I turned 14, I was in the 9th grade. I went to go buy my own personal copy of the album because, it's quite a few songs on that album that I love. And I just wanted to have the access of hearing them. And especially My Life, the album title track in particular. When I got into high school, like, because I always loved music. It was always a thing for me. But when I got into high school, I really got into the production, like wanting to know like who produced this song that I love so much, and if it was a sample on the song, like where did they sample the song from, things of that nature. So with My Life, she sampled Roy Ayers in The Sunshine, and so it was something about the piano, dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 la, dee, da. Like it was just something about that sample. Even the little synthesizer. It was just I just wanted to hear it. Like I just got to the point that like, okay, like I want to listen to this song, and so I bought the album and basically for that song so I could listen to it. But the song in itself, even though Mary wrote it from such a negative space, I feel like it's a song to uplift people. And it doesn't matter like what your situation is, because even at that time I'm thinking like, I'm in the 9th grade, I'm 14 going on 15, I'm not dealing with too much issues, but there were certain things that had my thoughts a lot of times, so listening to My Life and the lyrics, I feel like it kind of put things in perspective for me to kind of handle, my thoughts in a certain way. But like I said, it's definitely a relatable song no matter what your situation may be. Love the track. And I love the album. So in a gist, what I took from this documentary ultimately is that, no matter what your situation is, like, you gotta push through. You have to find that strength to take whatever experiences that, good or bad, that you have faced in your life, and just figuring out how to move on from them, figuring out how to heal from them, like no matter how long it takes, finding that strength. At the beginning of the documentary, Mary had dropped this quote that really kind of stuck out to me. I like how they put it right there in the beginning, because by the end of the documentary, it brought everything full circle. She said, success comes when you are successful inside. So basically, what I just said, like, you got to do the inside work. once you do that inside work, you will be successful in any and every aspect. So you guys, that's all I have. Make sure that you check the documentary out. Mary J. Blige, My Life documentary is on Amazon Prime. Also, make sure that you guys like, share, and subscribe. I'm D. Shaw Cox with Soul Faces Media, and I am out. Till the next time. Y'all be easy.